are the tech shamans. We understand because we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.
That close.
Hey everybody, good morning.
Howdy.
Welcome to WeBeam TV this morning with Tech Shamans.
Yes. And we just came out of a weekend.
Oh my!
So what does that mean?
Actually, we came out of 2 weekends. We didn't record last.
You're right. Well, we can only talk about this last weekend. So who teched this
I ain't
weekend?
afraid no ghosts, like my shirt.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. That's totally classic.
Yeah, I watched it late. I didn't sleep last night. I have not been to bed yet. I've been to bed, but I've not been to bed.
But you've not been to sleep.
I
Yeah.
watched all the Ghostbusters all the way till this morning.
Oh,
so,
nice.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of Ghostbusters, including the animated series.
No,
No.
including the one that no one mentions with the women. I love that one. I don't know why it's such. I understand why, because it messes with the whole fact that they're not in the. They're not. One's a funeral director. One's a.
So they're not
cab
academic
driver.
reasons.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
So
well,
they
I get
made
that.
their appearances, but they didn't make their appearances as them. So.
Got it.
But anyway,
All
hey,
right.
so did not tech this weekend. Painted all weekend. Painted and cleaned and moved massive amounts of rooms because we had work being done. So yay!
And there you have that.
I'm exhausted. I'm tired. So
I am trying to remember, other than doing, painting and floorboards and fun stuff like that. What I did on Saturday was not technically, it was grinding concrete off a floor. That was fun. So that was using technology. I was using a grinder with diamond bits. So there you have it.
diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yes, and the worst enemy of a concrete floor.
Right.
And Adam?
I think. Hold on one second. I think what we're going to do is on the February 14th, which I do believe is a Monday.
Yes, it is.
We're going to do the reality of why diamonds are given as engagements, because that wasn't a thing until
No.
Hallmark.
No, De Beers.
De Beers made it a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Back
it's all
in the day,
marketing.
my grandfather didn't give my grandmother a diamond ring.
Nope.
So
No.
anyway, so
Even wedding bands were, developed over time. But
Right.
yeah, white wedding dresses.
normally you
that
just
was
showed
not
up.
a thing.
Normally everybody just showed up with a goat or a horse or a cow and go, "Will you marry me?" Well, you got a goat or a cow. Okay,
You got a dowry?
Yeah.
got
yeah.
dowry.
Yep. There you go.
So what'd you do, Adam?
I didn't do anything until Sunday.
Oh boy.
Sunday, I just crunched it, and I had to use technology. And that was
Technology rules, man.
Did you use an electric smoker or something for your
No, I
brisket
had to-
or whatever it is you kill and eat?
No, I had to build a virtual server.
Ooh.
Build a lamp server real fast.
A lap server. That sounds like
Lamp.
something. Lamp. Okay. Sorry. I was. Yeah.
No
Hi, everybody.
dancing here.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn.
So it was not a great week last week for a lot of tech companies, courtesy of Apple.
What did poor Apple do?
Apple allows you now to say whether or not you share your private data with websites.
Oh, is that why
apps.
is that why the Blaze wrote tech stocks lose billions in value as Apple moves to secure data, user data?
They did lose about even in the last week, Meta, otherwise known as Facebook, lost almost a quarter of a trillion, $240 billion
Oh, wait a
in
minute.
market cap.
Hold on. I'm trying to squeeze a tear out, but it just ain't
I
happening.
ain't losing it.
Hold on, I'm just pushing.
Come on.
I farted. No.
People didn't really want to be tracked?
Yeah.
What a
And
coincidence.
yeah, so Google, but all these tech companies that were relying upon spying on you as part of their business model have collapsed since June. And so, yeah, total collapse has been something close to, $300 or $400 billion in market cap lost. And that's just on the stock side, but that's because their revenues are down
Holy
because
crap.
they can't deliver.
Pinterest lost $33 billion.
Yeah, and they weren't worth that much to begin with. So, yeah, it has really crippled a lot of these companies. It's not that, it's Apple that did it, which really tells you what the value of the Apple users are. That's what's important.
Now, but 4 months ago, everybody, all the people were like, oh, Apple doesn't make up that much of the market share.
The Apple data does, and the value of that Apple
Without
data
the Apple
is
phones
massive.
and Apple and the iPads, you don't have Apple data.
Yes, and that's where and it's literally the value of that data is what matters, because those are typically your higher end clients. They are the potential customers that have more disposable income, or maybe more in line with whatever lifestyle it is you're marketing to. It's going to be Apple users that are probably in that segment, and probably the highest value segment out there.
For the most part, Apple does not have to mine user data to
That's correct.
supplement its business.
Yeah.
Its business model is hardware, not software.
It's always been
Exactly.
hardware.
It's always been hardware.
always been hardware.
Yeah.
And on the back end became the software. So
Right.
they already had the hardware. And it makes sense for them to do the subscription base on everything they do, because it goes hand in hand with the hardware.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works, and they know what they're doing on that aspect.
Yep.
But they're not having to mine people's, intimate personal data
I know.
just to
mean,
make a buck. And it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, remember the person who got in trouble and got his ad killed because he took out ads on Facebook that said, if you're seeing this, you are probably in a gay relationship, living in the San Francisco area, and you're interested in adopting a child. And he said, this is to prove the point of how much Facebook knows about you.
Right.
And it was so shocking that Facebook killed the ad. It's like, wait, what was wrong with the ad?
Right.
It's your data. It's what? Oh no, you're violating their privacy. I'm violating their privacy? Hang on a minute. You're the one who sold me their data.
Right.
Okay, and so that's where they're coming from, and what they're realizing is, and the thing is, Facebook didn't turn off this data. Facebook didn't automatically just shut it down.
No.
Facebook simply gave people the option of whether they wanted to share it or not.
Right.
And that has what has killed the revenues of these companies.
So here's what I've always understood, and I'm not saying that this is my opinion. This is what I've understood from the world of electronics, computers, phones, that the people that have iPhones typically are a more stable household. There's probably the average income is higher than
More
normal.
affluent.
They spend more money on a normal transaction. So the people that buy the Androids, and I'm not putting Androids down, I'm just being honest, that have the Androids, they're a little more they're trying to save a buck. They're trying to get more bang for their buck, and they don't spend as much on the transactions as the Apple users.
Yeah, certainly not the done-for-you transactions, which is what Apple sells. Everything is done for you. Now, there are the people who like their Androids or their, Samsungs or whatever, because they can, program them or get their apps anywhere and do that kind of thing, and they like that freedom. But those are people that are just like in the gaming world. Okay, if you open a game store and it's your typical low-end, RPG tabletop gaming store, the people come in, plant themselves for free all weekend, and then buy all of their merchandise on Amazon to save 50 cents.
Well, also at the same time, remember, when you're talking about Android, you're talking about Google, and you're talking about the whole Google platform, another major data mining company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you couldn't be more of an antithesis.
So you got Facebook trying to mine stuff that Google wants too at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's probably was a lot easier to market iOS than it was to market Android.
Right.
There's probably things in there that
Yep.
Google already says, no, that's our data. We want that. We want to get fed that information first. That Facebook
Yeah.
and them just can't get, because that whole ecosystem really technically belongs to one of the largest,
Right.
Yeah.
data mining companies around. So
Yeah.
Alphabet.
Yeah.
So there it is.
And that's the difference. One is a tech company, Apple. The other's a data mining company, Google.
Right.
And the data mining companies have all been crippled because they've lost access to some of Apple's clients. This is just some of them.
Well, I mean,
it's incredible.
So when the whole thing came out with your iPhone, I actually went ahead and got in there and went through all my settings
Yep.
for who I will allow and who I will not allow to track me. And I didn't realize how many people were following and tracking me.
Amazing.
So there's only like 6 or 7 apps that I now allow
Yep.
allowed to track me because I want them to better track me.
Right. Now, I'm going to bring up something here that is a little bit different on a take on this, and I don't know how much of this big downturn is actually because of Apple, or it's actually confirmation bias, and it's because millions of people are leaving these platforms. They're not using them anymore. They're trying to blame Apple for it, but people are leaving
younger
Facebook.
generation are
People are,
leaving
it's not, it's the older generations too. That's the point. They're leaving for other sources. They're leaving Google for DuckDuckGo. They're leaving Facebook for Getter. They're leaving, all these things. Well, actually, people leave Twitter for Getter. They leave, Facebook, they go to Gab, and they go to Parler. And so they're losing a ton of people in this way.
Well, I mean, okay.
And so this is also affecting their revenues, but they're trying to pass it off. They don't want to admit it, that all this is happening.
Okay, so they lost 4 days ago. This was reported from CNBC that they lost $232 billion drop in value because people are exiting. It was this past week was one of the largest exits from Facebook. And it doesn't matter where they're going. And where everybody's going? TikTok. I have to say, and I am the guy, and I won't allow. I made sure that when I put this app back on my phone that it cannot track me. You can get lost in TikTok.
Yes.
I mean, it is not hard at all.
I get lost in the Facebook video feed that has TikTok videos in it.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's like one after another after another. You can literally just stay all day.
The Facebook feeds, video feeds, and how they always try to implement, a technology that somebody else is doing.
Right.
It never works the same as.
We're going to get there.
It never works.
So today, just give everybody a rundown of because we're going back to an old format that we used to have that people loved, and they're like, you got to get back to it. So we all bringing to the table today a topic. We got a marketing topic from Anthony. Adam's going to talk about don't build your house on sand.
On rented land.
On
rented land,
or
same
somebody else's
difference.
property.
And then I'm going to talk about why do people not see their advertising where they think they're going to see their advertising on TV? Because it's a different world.
Yep.
So let's just jump into this next thing
Sure.
too. Getter.
Yep.
This is kind of funny.
Go Getter.
Fired its IT and cybersecurity teams amid financial problems. This was according to a former
employee who was
so you
fired.
can probably take that with a grain of salt.
The salt lick.
Well,
if you don't know what a salt lick is, then
we're not going
get
to
a farm.
take it for a grain of salt, because you know what? It's big companies. The very first thing they do, first off, they're forgetting that they're a tech company. Okay. I mean, obviously. And the first thing is, when a large company or corporation has issues, the first thing they do is they let go of their IT team. Because what are we doing? We just sit there all day and we're just get rid of them because they're just costing us money. Everything seems to be working fine. Well, that's the whole point. Everything's working fine because we're making it work fine. So they that's usually the first team that goes.
But this is Getter. It's a tech company. It is a social media platform. They know
being run by people that don't know tech.
That's the problem.
And they're running it like a regular business, and therefore, what do? In that regular world, you make them go away.
That would be like someone that didn't know how to run a television station. bought me and go, well, that's not the way we want you to do it. We want you to do it this way. Well, that's not the way it works.
That's not how the cameras work.
That's like running a restaurant and firing your 5-star chef.
Right.
You know,
It's like,
get out of here.
Well, you can
Dudes.
say that except for one thing. The reason they're saying is, oh, there were budget cuts, there were this problem, that problem. Meanwhile, Getter has just shot up in number of subscribers. They've just gone through the roof on it.
Oh,
and so it's
perfect.
completely contradicting, okay, this employee's claims about what was going on. My gut feel is they hired better IT people and they let the slackers go, because they needed to ramp up because they were growing so rapidly. I think they added like 25% more users in the last 30 days.
Well, they took that budget and they moved it to marketing, is what they've done. And they increased their user base, but didn't increase their security.
Right. People
but now they
people are leaving
Yep.
the other platforms and
Yep.
they're going other places. That's just the
Exactly.
way it is. So
Yeah.
all the new people, Rumble, Getter,
everybody's learning.
All these people are, they're like, oh, come to us. We have cookies. That's what it really is. You don't like those. You don't
Accept
like those
them.
vanilla cookies. We got chocolate chip.
Accept them
Yeah.
all.
You
Accept
don't like
them
We'll
all.
vanilla
even give you
wafers. We have-
coffee.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So to me, it's it's one of these things where I think the guy was a little disgruntled myself.
Yeah.
I read the whole article. I did read this one finally, and to me, it sounds like, well, he just wasn't happy that he was canned at Christmas.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. They were all laid off in December. I think the 28th is what the thing said.
Yeah.
So that means around Christmas, everybody got let go. So here's your Christmas check. Oh, and by the way, here's your pink slip.
Yep. So
That was, and to me, that's the worst time to lay somebody up. But I also corporately understand it, because that's when the new taxes and blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, that's everything rolls over. So
Yep.
it is what it is.
Yep.
I'm not upset.
I
with,
mean, unless we start to see a massive problem with Getter, I'm going to say they probably made a good choice.
Probably.
Because right now I'm seeing 0 service issues on it.
Okay.
It's running smooth as silk.
You're on it, right?
Yeah, I'm on it.
See, I'm on it, but I don't pay attention to it. I'm
Yeah.
on Rumble. I don't take. I'm pulling I pulled our platform off of Rumble at this point in time, because they cannot give me a persistent key.
Yeah.
The minute they can do that, then I'm all in, because I don't want to sit there and have to redo every morning
Every
what I
morning.
do
Yep.
that I'm doing normally on everybody else. So,
Yep.
so here's my big problem, Anthony, and I'm going to lead you right in there, hopefully, is I hate it when my website won't load quickly, or it doesn't respond quickly, or it's just a slug.
Yep.
So let's talk about that.
There's a lot of research out there. Now, if you go back in history, newspaper sales, newspaper advertising, they used to have what's called the 2-second rule. And that is, when someone's scanning a page, they give every ad on the page 2 seconds. They give every article, every ad, every headline 2 seconds to decide if it applies to them and if they should continue reading. Now, interestingly, the research out there shows that the internet gives you a little bit more benefit than that. The average person will give you 3 seconds. At 3 seconds, if your
3
site has not
seconds.
loaded, 40% of your audience will click away.
Right.
So you've got 3 seconds. Now, what can you do to help that is the real question. I'm going to say a couple things as we go along. Yeah, there are ways to speed up your website. That's really important. But I will also say that data, I am positive, is being driven by people doing Google searches
Right.
and coming into your website. Excuse me, which is not always your fault that something is not loading properly after a Google search, because the Google link they're going to may be something that doesn't exist anymore or changed a while ago and things are different on it. Because Google only archives links. They don't actually go out and search the whole internet every time somebody does a search.
I have seen that a lot.
Yeah. But on the other hand, that is people who don't know you. They have no idea who you are. They're just trying to follow a link to get an answer to a question. So their attention span is going to be very, very short. Now, let's imagine you are Craft Street Kitchen, okay, and I'm sitting out in your parking lot and I decided I want to order to go while I go grocery shopping. I'm okay waiting an extra 2 seconds for your website to open, because I know exactly who I'm talking to and exactly what I'm waiting for. All I need to do is see a sign that it's actually loading and working, and I'm not getting a white screen of death. So there are different ways to look at this, but that figure is scary. If you want to know how fast your website is locating, there is a really cool website out there, easy to use, called Pingdom. It's spelled like kingdom, K-I-N-G-D-O-M, only it's Pingdom with a P, Pingdom.com. You can go in there, put in your website, and you will find out exactly how fast you're loading. So that gives you an idea, but how does that help you? You see, there are a lot of very complicated ways you can go back in and mess with your memory cache and mess with what's loaded, and you can add in a lazy loader so that images aren't called up until somebody scrolls down the screen and needs them, and so therefore your homepage will load faster because the stuff down at the bottom isn't loading before it displays. That's a great idea, a little hard to set up, but the real thing is if you're running a WordPress website, the easiest thing you can do, and I love the fact that this guy created this, it's a new plugin called Surge.
Surge.
Yes. Surge is a no-step plugin, I swear to God. You install it and you activate it and you're done.
Really?
There are no settings. There are no adjustments.
So it's John-proof.
It is John-proof.
Yes. Yes, I can finally put something on something.
It is really extraordinary. And it knocked my website load speed down by about 20% right off the bat. Just the first time I loaded it, boom, done. And it's incredible because there are certain things that everybody should be doing as a bare minimum. And then a few advanced things that everybody should be doing as a bare minimum. And Surge just builds them all in, and you're done. And so that makes Surge probably one of the easiest things you could ever install. Now, this is assuming you don't have anything else installed that takes, all kinds of settings, and you haven't got Jetpack in there trying to do stuff, and you don't want the plugins to conflict. But if you have nothing on your website for this, it is the absolute brain-dead easiest way.
We just made $1.
That's good news.
Hear the phone ring.
I heard somebody's phone ring, yeah. That was the crew.
We made $1.
So that is probably one of the easiest things you can do if you're concerned about it. Go to Pingdom, see how fast your site is loading. Anything over 3.5, 4 seconds.
Is it pingdom.com or
Yep,
.org?
pingdom.com. And just go ahead and use that. And what you'll find is WeBeam TV is running about 3 3/4 seconds on the load. I ran the test on it, so we're not doing too bad, but the people who are coming here are looking for exactly what we're selling. And we also have a pretty video-intensive homepage.
Right.
So that tends to slow it down.
See? Got me $1. I love that old commercial.
It was my segment that was interrupted.
Oh, man.
And now, as I call him during Adam's segment, and I call him during John's segment.
That's great.
This is how you make money on the air.
Yeah, the only way. Yeah.
So there you have it.
Right, so Pingdom.
That would be my suggestion. Pingdom and Surge.
Surge.
Great one-two punch for you.
You remember that movie? Serge.
I try to forget that movie. Thanks.
It's Serge.
Yes. Well, it's like, cash instead of cachet, and it's like cachet used to mean something else.
Right.
And so it drives me nuts when, the modern generation calls it your memory cache.
Right.
And it's like, well, that is the technical definition of the word, but it's pronounced cache.
Well, here's some cool tech today. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Da Vinci style drone with 600-year-old screw rotor design actually flies. Now, we did not grab the video on this.
Okay.
It was my fault. I was rushing in here.
I watched the video on this, and they've made a couple adjustments. In the original Da Vinci screw, there you go, okay? If you look at it, it's got basically one wraparound. The thing on the left has got 3 or 4 blades.
I bet Dylan can pull that website up and put that video on for us.
I bet he can because he's smart, okay?
He's awesome.
It has 4 blades instead of 1. So is it kind of a Da Vinci-style air screw? Yes. But when Da Vinci designed his, it's bicycle-powered, basically, or hand-crank-powered. You're looking at this thing, and it's spinning at like 3,000 RPMs in order to get on 4 blades the oomph
But it is cool
needs.
looking.
It's very cool looking. There we go.
look at
Dylan
that.
hath done it.
Look at Dylan.
Hopefully
He's
our audio
such a
is
good
still
guy.
running and people aren't having to listen to this thing.
Yeah.
But Yeah,
Wow.
it is cool. It is.
Boy, the stabilizer's having a real hard time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's doing okay considering it's, 600-year-old technology.
Blades blow off.
Yeah.
I'd hate that to hit you, though.
That's the other thing, is having to make the blades so
Man,
light.
Wow, their video floor looks like our video floor.
Yeah, hit your mark.
That's awesome.
So there
That's
you
cool,
go.
man.
It is pretty cool that they were able to do it. It only took, several thousand RPM in order to make it work, which is something I'm sure Da Vinci never quite had in mind.
That is true.
So
That is
yeah,
true.
his electric servos and gyroscopic balancers
So-
were probably.
Talking about things that really shouldn't be done. Let's talk about Facebook
Yeah.
and building your platform on other people's.
Well, what happened is years ago, Mark decided that he was going to stop that major development on the web version, version of Facebook. All the development was going to go towards iOS.
Okay.
And they wanted to basically mobile-centric, that the whole platform.
Right.
And, usually that's because everybody has their phone with them. Problem is, with that aspect, when you start focusing on one ecosystem and you don't own that ecosystem, and, your landlord decides to pull some tricks on you, as in, deciding whether or not you want cross-app tracking and other features, you could technically lose money, and this can happen in anything, not just something like on Facebook.
No.
But this is like if you decide to, say for instance, let me give you an idea, like a hosting company. You build a website.
Yeah.
Right.
And the first thing you do is you buy your domain. Why? I personally don't want to have my domain, my hosting, my Office subscription,
Right.
and everything all hosted by the one single company. See, when it comes to something like that,
Yeah.
and somebody gets broken into,
Yep.
you get your account gets hijacked.
Yep.
You've not only lost your domain, you lost your hosting and website.
Right.
You lost access to your admin console for
Right.
your Office 365.
Right.
So there's reasons why you should
Diversify.
Yeah, diversify. Spread your
your
seed
business
across
wings.
multiple platforms. Okay. Bring it in-house. I have in-house servers. I can use virtual servers. That's all fine and dandy. But what happens when those servers out there, go down, for instance? I have, proprietary software that I use and store that I run my business on. And I host it internally because I have full access, full control over my server. Not everybody knows how to do that and can do that. But again, can you...
Or has a power supply that's up enough in Florida to make it even worth thinking about.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, because your server goes down when in your store. Okay, your website disappears from the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can also virtualize and have a secondary server.
Have a redundant.
Have a
yeah.
redundant server in the cloud as a backup
Yeah.
in case something happens. And that's why it's really important to make sure you have your backups.
Yes.
So,
Speaking of backups, I need you afterwards. So
Yeah,
yes.
so it's really about diversifying your technology too. Move your stuff across different platforms and always plan ahead. Anybody can change their terms of service,
Yep.
the way they
Yep.
way they run their software at any given time, or their technology, and it's going to be a big dampener to you. This whole push, businesses are focusing so much on marketing with Facebook. Facebook's not really. They're just trying to make themselves stay relevant with pushing to video. I noticed recently I've been getting a lot of hits, emails coming in from Facebook telling me run more ads for my business, run video ads.
Oh yeah.
And it's not because
We've
they're
assigned
trying.
a specialist to help
Yeah.
you, develop more
They're
ads.
not looking to help you run your business. They need advertising
They need
money,
revenue.
and they need people to do video content so they can stay relevant against other platforms. They ain't trying to
I
help
had
you.
something happen yesterday, on that same venue, where I had, some excess flooring that I thought I'd put up for sale. And so I put an ad out on Facebook. I'm getting emails and messages from Facebook saying, hey, if you want to boost your, it's like, I've never gotten an email from them asking me to boost You know, a sale item, you know, it's a
And a
$50 sale item.
And the weirdest thing, I use an email address that's only for Facebook.
Yeah.
And not only will I get from Facebook, but I will get from other advertisers too.
From Facebook.
And
Because
I
they
know
sold it.
exactly where it came
Yep.
from.
Right. I tell every client whenever we set up a marketing program, you're going to have an email for different things. You never have a email for your social media. You have a Facebook at your like say Webeam TV, Facebook at Webeam TV, Instagram at Webeam TV, Pinterest at that way we know where it's tracked at.
Where's the leak?
We know where it's coming from. So
Yeah.
all right. So that's good information.
That's good. Thank you, Adam.
Oh, you're welcome.
So Tesla.
Never heard of him.
Love him or hate him, he freaking finished his Austin factory ahead of schedule.
So can he go ahead and give this kid that's on Twitter that's been tracking him the damn Tesla and stop? Because this kid knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
the kid says, "Give me 50 grand or
Yep.
maybe a Tesla 3," and they go, "We'll give you a 3-year lease on a Tesla."
No.
No, the kid's like, "No, I want a Tesla." Just give it to him.
Well, and the thing is that extortion?
No, he's using legitimate. He's using public. It's Elon's the one who wants it down.
But the minute he asked for the money, it's extortion.
Yes.
Well, he says Elon offered him the $5,000, and he's just countered it with 50 grand.
Doesn't matter. Okay. The fact is, anytime
But
you
the kid's
demand compensation in exchange for a negative consequence, that's the technical definition of extortion. So what is the potential negative consequence of this software?
New Gigafactory.
Ooh, yes. Awesome. Which is really stunning.
But did you see that
and
facility?
The actual news. It is gorgeous.
That facility is absolutely that is beautiful.
That is an automaker.
Look at all those power walls.
Yeah. Those are batteries.
Yes.
And
That's where all the batteries, solar feeds the
and
batteries. The
look
batteries
at all the
feeds
solar plant. I mean, it's a giant solar array
is.
on top.
Well, that's
I mean,
smart.
it's absolutely
He's in Texas, for
brilliant.
God's sake.
I know. Yeah, he's 100% sunshine.
Again,
Absolutely
as soon as they can figure out
And built it ahead
battery
of schedule. Wait until he figures out how to make chips.
Oh my.
and batteries.
Yeah, he's
When he's got the
battery
As
technology.
soon as he can pull away from rare earth stuff, he's going to own it.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
Learn to use poop. There's
Yeah.
plenty of poop in this world.
That's
jeez.
good for fertilizer.
I
We
guess
have
so.
enough of it with the 4 horses.
I guess and from according to the Martian, you can grow potatoes in your own poop.
Yes, you can.
They must taste shitty though.
Probably tastes just like regular potatoes, which makes you wondering what you've been eating this whole time.
I didn't think of it. Now I'm not eating potatoes.
Oh.
I'm going to become a pure
Any plant.
carnivore.
Yeah, and John's gonna be like,
and what do those
nothing about
and
meat.
what do those animals eat? Okay, it's just one level removed.
John's
It's
like,
it's
no
like
more
the
meat
Kevin
and
Bacon
potatoes.
game,
Right.
except
Kevin
it's the
Bacon
what's the
game.
bacon been eating game. Okay,
I love bacon.
you go right ahead.
Bacon is awesome.
Wilbur, no.
Yep, I
Okay.
love Wilbur. Fatten him up. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about
Oh,
TV advertising.
this is interesting because I used to own. I used to do media buying a lot. of
Okay,
it.
so
yeah, this is gonna be a good
so
conversation.
now the image I'm going to show you is just a pretty image and then blah blah blah. It's really not that. So here's how the conversation went this past week. John, I got a question for you. Okay, what? Well, I bought media runs on HGTV and Discovery and Bay's News 9.
Yep.
Okay. But my friends can't see my commercial at their house when I'm seeing my commercial at my house.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, your friend has probably Fios and you have Spectrum.
Or
Oh,
you
no.
bought a zone.
Well, no. This is the way.
Okay.
This is the way it works. I'm gonna take
Okay.
my glasses off for this. So, when you everybody needs to understand when you're buying media locally, and I mean locally.
From your cable provider.
So if Spectrum knocks on your door and says, "Hey, I want a commercial," or you're using the new platform where you upload it there, and you go, "I want to be on HGTV, I want to be in Discovery, I want to be in Bay News 9, which is super expensive, and I want to be on these," you will only be on HDTV on that platform, the spectrum.
Exactly.
You won't be on Fios, you won't be on DirecTV, you won't be on Dish Network, you won't be on Charter, you won't be on AT&T, you won't be on, I can't remember.
Whatever.
What other
Doesn't
platform.
matter.
So
You're only on the one you're buying from.
Right, because that is the inventory that they are given by those channels, right? So same thing as if Fios comes to you and says, hey, advertise on us, Frontier. And again, if you could pick HGTV, I'm just using these as names, right?
Yep.
HGTV Discovery. Well, you won't be on the Spectrum network, you won't be on the Dish network, you won't be on DirecTV, again, down the line. You won't be on those because you are buying locally. You're not buying nationally. To get onto HGTV, Discovery, and blah, 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 you have to go to the big boy. You have to actually go to them.
Yes.
Now, there are power brokers out there that can do media buys and put you on nationally. But it's not going to help you because someone in Texas sees your ad and you're a flooring guy in Florida. Well, you're not going to drive to Texas unless you're a national. And okay, so when you see the big brands on there like Coca-Cola, Budweiser, all that kind of stuff, that's not done at a local level. That's done at a national level. And in that way, that's marketing getting out to the masses. Now, the only way to be able to be seen in the local area, say in the Tampa Bay proper, let's say just proper, 9 counties, right?
Right.
If you want to be seen on everything, you have to go to Channel 10, Channel 13, Channel 8, Ion. Believe it or not, Ion is a true network. Because what makes people a true network is the fact that they broadcast over antenna. Okay, and you can still get Ion 13, 8, 10, some PBS. Those are networks, right? So those people, when you advertise directly, now you're going to be seen on. Okay, let's take this for instance. Everybody knows Steve and Julie Weintraub, right? Okay, so we're going to use them as an example. They actually advertise to the local network. They go to Fox 13, they go to Channel 8, they go to Channel 10. They go right to the source. So that way they're seen on all the platforms. It doesn't matter if you have Spectrum or Fios or DirecTV or Dish Network or whatever or WOW.
So those are like the local examples of HGTV nationally.
Right.
Okay. Only they're not actual national stations. They're just regional, but you pick up the whole region by advertising on that TV station alone.
And now here's something that you also have to know, that when you go to a national, where you go you're either going through a major media buyer that can get you direct, or you're going direct to HGTV, which is the mother company, is not them.
Right.
But you got to make sure you tell them, I don't want to be trumped by local advertising.
Right.
Because that's another thing too. Because a lot of people will get on there, and I know people that have gone on Ion because they were local. Ion bumped them for local programming.
Right.
So you have to be very adamant about who, what, when, where your ads are being seen.
Because specifying all those details, even, you had started to talk about how, one person was seeing another person wasn't at his house. And that's because also when you're buying cable ads, you can buy zones. You can get it down to the zip code. And so your neighbor, 2 streets over will not see the ad if you chose not to. I mean, it's great if you're like a little eatery or a grocery store or something like you really rely on your local neighborhood. I mean, there's no point in advertising in Pasco County if you're, a little, ice cream shop in St. Pete. It's not worth the money.
There's the way that we work it with some of the clients. When I used to media buy. I don't media buy anymore. That's not what we do anymore. But we would say, you want that 5-mile circle. You want that 10-mile circle. You want that 15-mile circle, and then the 20. After 20, I'm like, don't waste your money. Unless you're something that's a major destination, that's different. You
Right.
know, if you're a restaurant, a major restaurant destination, or a hotel or something like that, then you go outside
Obviously,
that
yeah.
world. Now, and there's also some people that get funding through their marketing programs cannot do local. They have to do outside their local area.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like, say, chambers of commerces, when they have these big events.
Yeah.
They can do some very minimal local, but that when you get those grants, they want you out of
They
state.
want you promoting the Chamber of Commerce
Yes.
National Association. That's why they're giving you the extra money.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's the difference between when you're doing your marketing and advertising local and not local and the whole 9 yards. It's a pain in the rear end. But I've just literally in the last week and a half, I've had 5 people come up to me and they go, well, you know about this stuff. Tell me why I'm.
There
And
you
I'm
go.
like, well.
Yep.
And the problem is, and I'm not
That's
saying
how
it's
they build it.
all of them, all the salespeople, but the salespeople do not break it down for these clients.
No. I mean, they're out there to make a hit and make a
Right.
sale and move on to the next person.
Right.
And hopefully you'll have ads that work and they can come back and sell you something different next time if it didn't. So that's about it.
So we're going to jump.
Yeah.
Staying in the video world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube's new censorship tactic is to limit streams that are too popular.
Yeah.
You know why? Ultimately, why is they don't want to
Yep.
pay out no money.
Well, it's costing them a fortune to go ahead and do this. I mean, some of these very popular videos have also had content that YouTube, doesn't like for whatever reason, and so this has been their new, cover story. Basically, is that they're saying, "Oh, it's too popular. We need to throttle that back a bit." Now, it's okay. Let's imagine that this is actually legit. Then what they're leaning towards is pay to play, which you've been saying they've been working towards for a couple of years now.
They are totally.
And so that would make sense.
So let's read this.
Yeah.
So here's what it says. This video is popular due to the limited creator history. We're limiting the number of viewers. Subscribe to this channel to help the creator reach a broader audience. So in other words, what they're saying is, well, it's very popular. This guy came out of nowhere. We don't know who he is. We don't have a background. They can never say that about WeBeam TV.
Well, they can never say about that, but
Ever.
also this guy, just to give you an idea of what new and just out of the woodwork was, he'd had his channel for 7 years.
Oh, well,
Think
then-
So
about
it was
it. Think about it
complete
this way.
BS.
If he's taking it right and he's moving it and sharing it on other platforms and are linking back, Google's
You mean
having
he's iframing it in? Yeah.
Google's having to pay him advertising revenue without them being fully on their network, and they feel in their eyes that they're losing advertising potential and more money.
Yeah, because when you embed it, you do not get the same advertising experience as if you go straight to YouTube, where they cut in every 3 or 4 minutes to
So they're
give you
paying
another
this
ad.
content creator, and they're just saying, oh, well, if you want to be, you have to sign in with a Google account and subscribe with Google services and
Yes.
stuff like that. So that way, it's getting stupid.
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
it's-
they're
what it is.
Totally
they're-
dumb.
And the thing is, it's not like they aren't making enough money. It's that they aren't growing continuously, which is what you have to do to satisfy shareholders.
Correct.
But the thing
And
is,
are they
there's
reaching a saturation point?
Yes.
And
I mean,
so,
there's only so many people in
and
the
so they've
world.
gone from being a growth company to being a value company, okay, where they just provide regular, reliable value for what they do, and that's the curve they're on. But they're trying every trick in the book to still look like a growth company.
And just to circle back real quick too, it was Facebook not too long ago did also announce that they had lost user base for the first time.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Which was not really user base; it was bots, most likely. But
Yeah.
Yep.
but just to be, they shut down a whole bunch of bots. Okay?
It's just, the bottom line is, if you want to use their platform, you got to play by their rules and you got to do what they want you to do.
And that will always be the case. And no, you don't have any rights on their platform.
Nope.
You're putting your stuff there. You can't say, I don't give you the right to view my pictures.
Oh my God, I love those posts.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh,
seriously.
I mean, really?
I was not aware that one side could change a contract just by saying, I don't want to follow this contract anymore, but I still want all the benefits from your side,
You put
please.
all the stuff on there.
Right,
You put all- we put everything out there on the internet. You guys got to understand that you're putting it on other people's servers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you put it on Google servers, you're putting it on Amazon servers, you're putting it here, you're putting it there, and that's theirs now.
You weren't
It's
buying
not
your own
yours.
server.
So I honestly believe, and I know I'm going to get yelled at for this, but I honestly believe that the minute you put something on a social media platform, I don't care what it is, YouTube, whatever, you have just now made that open source.
Yes.
Period. Open source.
Only open source to the channel. If somebody else tries to take it away from the channel and use it independently,
We do that.
then
We just did that all day. This whole show was done that way. We pulled all of our articles, got pulled from another source.
No, that's really not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if I went in and there's a YouTube video from, I don't know, Bernadette Banner on there, and I went ahead and copied that video from YouTube, okay, and then put it up on my own, channel over on Rumble, that would be a violation. They would come after me. But if YouTube said, hey, we're going to take this video and we're going to go ahead and promote it and sell it over here, Bernadette would go, nothing I can do, okay? Because first of all, how do you fight YouTube over what YouTube does
what
with
I'm
your
saying.
video? Okay, but
That's how we.
You and I can't do it, but they can.
That's how we fight we always get like hit for copyright infringement, blah blah blah. Well, we're pulling this from open source. We're pulling this from in the web. If you're going to put it on YouTube, you're going to put it on Facebook, then I can show it. And I can talk about it, make fun of it, do whatever I want to, but that's just...
As long as you're not showing the whole thing in its entirety in an attempt to replicate what they put up,
not doing
that's
that.
different.
That's different.
Who was the star that just got her Twitch stream shut off because she did a watch party?
Oh, she...
Who was it? Pokimane.
was she doing a watch
And
party
what was
of?
the movie that she put on? Wasn't Lord of the Rings. What was it? It was
just a
something.
movie.
But she streamed the movie. Boom.
But
No, sorry.
because she makes money off of that, that's illegal.
Well, even if she
using
didn't.
it as a public display. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like using the NFL going, if you use any parts, pieces, or they're going to come after your butt.
Yeah, you cannot just throw up a game in your restaurant on the TV screen, okay, and watch it.
And
They
you
come
know
after
what?
you for that.
Not for nothing, but I'm surprised more game developers haven't gone off after these streamers.
Yeah.
Because technically, that's what they're doing.
They're making money off of that.
Oh, yeah, but they're selling more games. That's their advertising.
They think, and a lot of people just, see them doing it and just, rather just sit there.
They weren't going to buy a game anyway.
Weren't going to buy a game anyway.
Yeah, but there are people going, oh my God, I want to do this. I want to be in this world, especially when you have the the massive multiplayer games. Okay, they're like, I want to be in. I want to play this game. Let me go spend my $50, and now I'm in. And they sold another game, and there you go. I mean, that's you look at something like Critical Role, and the millions of people that they reach every month. And the number of them who have been converted over to playing Dungeons and Dragons, there's a reason Wizards of the Coast lets them go ahead and do that.
Yep.
So there you go.
So I got good news for you.
Oh my God, I love good
Got
news.
good news for you. All right. Ready
Yeah.
for this? GPU prices drops 8%.
Even
Due
though-
to the wake of the crypto plunge.
Even though they're up 200%?
Yeah, we get 8%
We lost
back.
8%. Oh my God.
How about that?
And gosh forbid if we could even find one.
Yeah.
The all-elusive video card. Discrete graphics are a thing of the past. You'll never find one ever again. Only one you can get them from is the OEMs. CyberPower and everybody else like that, they got an endless supply. They're building gaming computers. They just shut out the little guys.
Yeah.
Not only did they shut out the little guys, but you can't build your own gaming computer because you got to refinance your vehicle and or your house.
Or
just
your
to-
house.
just to get a
right?
couple graphics cards.
I need a graphics card. Man, come on, I need that fix.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
$1,500, no big deal. Just throw it out there.
But right now, a GeForce RTX 3090 is going for $2,600 on this is eBay. This is eBay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't find them in store.
Right.
That's
Which
because
is
all the
crazy.
bots bought them already.
Yeah.
I want to know the guy that spent the money to begin with.
Yeah.
And what he's doing with them. And by the time he gets them all sold, the warranties are going to be out because they're not going to be good anymore.
Yep. No warranty.
Yep.
Nobody cares about warranties
No
anymore. They
warranty
just want
for you,
something to
man.
function.
Well, if you have like a 2 or 3 year warranty on a graphics card, of course, and you spent, $900,000 for a card, I mean, I definitely would want a warranty.
I do remember back in the day when we were building computers for streaming. I mean, in the early years of streaming, a video card would cost you almost $3,000.
Yeah.
Because it had to work, and man, it was not even in the 970 ranges.
Yeah, but then prices came down $300-400. You got a really good card,
Killer card,
and killer cards were coming out in the $500 and $600 range.
Yep.
So
I don't mind spending $1,200 on a monster card, but I'm not going to spend $3,000 on.
No, and we're talking
an old one that's almost out of warranty.
And a monster card John's talking about is like a workstation card.
Yeah.
Using
Big boy stuff.
Big boy stuff. Yeah. None of this.
Huge. It's huge.
None of the G4 stuff.
Well, you know what? Today was a good day because we got 5 minutes left and we're out of articles, which is awesome.
Yes.
Right? I mean, because now we can just kind of free flow. So, we're opening up. Oh, let's tell everybody that the tech world we're opening up Nerdosphere March 1st. I'm putting it in writing. I'm putting it in verbal to the world. March 1st.
Verbal writing.
March 1st.
March 1st.
March 1st.
He's got to lay a floor.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Minor element.
Minor element.
No, the technology behind this thing is what's going to be really cool because it goes beyond just any other game store. We really want to make this a hub for people who want to not just game in a quality environment where you've got some ground rules about who can be there and what it takes to get in, so that you don't end up with the wrong kind of people sitting next to you, which can be a real problem in a game store if you've ever been in a game store and tried to game there. But having professional game masters that will come in, they will you can be part of a training program, you can learn how to play the game, and then go beyond that to where if you're one of these people that likes watching things like Critical Role, or you have your own game group and you're like, we could do this, we're good, we're funny, we're active, we have good personalities and voice actors in our group, and so we want to go ahead and try to turn this into something, but oh damn, I don't have $15,000 to build a studio. Now that was last year. Now with today's prices, it's $20,000 to build a studio, in order to be able to do this and and have to put it up in your garage every month and take it back down again so you can put your car in and all that kind of crap that goes on. We have the ability to create your game, let you play, and let you stream it on up to 7 channels. And then we're working on the technology in the back end that will let you get sponsors and raise money while you are playing based on the scenario. There's some really cool stuff we're working on. And so, yeah, it may cost you to come in and play, but you actually have the opportunity to put your mouth where your money is and potentially start to really build a following and grow your own Critical Role style fan base for your game as you're playing it. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on from that aspect. The food that's going to be in there is not going to be potato chips and
we'll have
soda.
potato chips, 'cause everybody
but
likes
it's not
potato
going to be
chips.
like that. We're going to be having real food. We now have the food license, and we've got some really good stuff going on in there to turn this into something that is way beyond a normal game store. It's going to be a destination that, you were talking earlier in your cable analysis, do you go beyond 20 miles? This is the kind of place that goes beyond 20 miles.
Yeah.
Because you'll come in once a month to play your game. You're sitting there for 3 or 4 hours. And that's what you're going to do. And, the tables we've built are specifically designed for gameplay of this nature. They are designed for, huge terrains if you want to build them out, or just have everybody have lots of room to spread their stuff out and work, at the table and play. So there's a whole lot going on, and we're experimenting constantly.
And here's
with
something else too. So when we have big tournaments that are, LPL, like League of Legends and stuff like that, we're going to actually have watch parties in there, so people can come in and watch and sit and have some drinks and We're not going to do alcohol. I'm staying away from
Play,
that world.
watch, whatever it is.
Play, watch,
Yep.
the whole 9 yards,
Yep.
and come in. And you can actually come in and sit with we have a DM that'll be on pretty much in there most of the time. And so if you got questions and you need to learn, or we're going to do painting courses and stuff, of how to build and how to paint and that's all going to be a part of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is going to be, our goal is to make it a mecca for tabletop gamers.
got a minute and a half.
Real
What's
RPG.
going on in AMS? Anything good?
Oh, yeah.
Got any sales?
Huh? Sales, yeah. I got a bunch of computers over at the store.
Come buy my computer.
Anything good?
Got some laptops.
Got any GPUs?
No.
Got any video
GPUs,
cards?
No video cards.
man.
Sorry, guys.
Me.
Oh, I'm sure you've got some in there somewhere.
I have.
They're just old and
Old, yeah.
Crusty.
Decrepit. Even the used video
The
card
fan
market
just
is
spins
crazy.
every now and then.
The used video card
Twitches.
market is really rough, man. I get technicians all the time calling me.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, you got any used video cards? No, I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
You sure, man?
You know,
Come on, man.
I was like,
Come on, you got one.
You got a
want
secret
card? I got this card over here.
You got that secret stash.
No, I don't have a stash. I don't got nothing. Everybody's having issues.
Man, leave me alone.
Hey, God, leave me
Too
alone.
funny.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. So anyway, if you got any questions, if you got any statements, hit us up on Facebook. Private message us or put us up on Messenger. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Request.
or
request
email
stuff.
us at, what's the address?
I think it is techshamans@webeamtv.com. Yeah.
That'll do
Awesome.
it. Oh, look
See
at that, right there on the screen.
You used to have a QR code.
It's
I
like
have
magic.
no idea where that's anymore.
Yeah, well.
That's
That's
all right. Hey,
technology.
You know
thanks
that
for
works.
watching it today, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
We
Have a
appreciate it. Have a
great
techie
week.
week. Bye.
We got the plans cause we are the tech shamans. We understand cause we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.